There's a public perception that that was part of a apology tour, if you will. That this had been said online. There was all of the criticism. There was advertisers leaving. We talked to Bob Iger today.
I hope they stop.
You hope?
Don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f*** yourself.
But
go f*** yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
I'm not sure that there has ever been a bigger gap between a person's self-image and who they actually are to others. God, was that cringy and try hard. They're repeating it, trying to get a reaction. Just the way he's sitting, man, he thinks that he's clever and edgy and tough. And I mean, it's impossible to get through to him, but Jesus. Anyway, so he's saying that, he doesn't even care that advertisers have fled Twitter because of his anti-Semitic comments. Doesn't seem true considering he's trying to sue Media Matters because he thinks they're responsible for it. So he's like, I'm not crying at all, but he clearly is. But what bothers me is less him telling the advertisers to F off. I don't care about the advertisers or about his platform. Is anybody else noticing how weird he's acting in this video? I'm gonna play a little bit more, and I just want you to see his body language, the pauses, how awkward the entire thing is. Take a look at this.
If you believe that this is the one part of your business where you will be beholden to those who have this view, what do you do?
F-Y.
I understand that, but there's a reality too, right?
Yes. No.
I mean, Linda Yaccarino's right here, and she's got to sell advertising.
Absolutely. So, totally. No. Actually, what this advertising boycott is going to do? It's going to kill the company.
And do you think that
and the whole world will know that those advertisers killed the company, and we will document it in great detail.
Okay, he's going to continue on whatever he thinks that point is. And look, there's a lot there that, Jordan, we need to dive into, like what he thinks the definition of blackmail is, the fact that the CEO is telling the world that the $44 billion social media purchase he made is going to die. There's a lot of issues there, but just again, I don't watch him all the time, and I understand that I am biased. I despise him more than perhaps anyone else in the world. But does it not seem like he's either in the grip of existential depression or some sort of chemical that had the feel of last words to me? I don't know. Maybe I'm exaggerating. What do you think, Jordan?
It strikes me as somebody who has filled positions at various companies that he controls, fill those positions with people who are just yes men and yes women. And everything that he has said, everything that he has done, everything he thinks that will elicit a positive reaction, they will happily oblige because they want to keep their jobs. You saw kind of the try-hard behavior during that initial few months, really tumultuous period at Twitter, where you had people, I'm sleeping in the office because I love working at Twitter so much, and I think Elon's great. And then they were ultimately let go, and people were just reportedly working over holidays and weekends to keep him happy and meet his eccentric demands. He has cultivated a culture there where people will just say yes and laugh to everything that he says and does. And playing out here, it just seemed, the simplest explanation for me is that you're in a room where you are saying nonsensical things about business practices in a room filled with people who are there to think about, hear about business practices. And that's not going to play there. And then he admits it eventually. Oh yeah, this advertiser boycott, the primary source of revenue for this company, it's going to kill us if it dissipates. And just 30 seconds prior, he was saying GFY, and I don't want your advertisers, to one of the biggest advertisers on the planet. Good luck. No one's going to laugh to that because they only see you as a failure.
Yeah, I don't again, I have tried for years to get through to people that he is not the genius that you have been sold that he is. And I'm wasting my time. It's clearly not going to work. But This guy is the CEO of 6 different companies because he's apparently an expert on coding, automobile manufacturer, rockets, tunneling, social media, all of that. He definitely knows about all of those things, and he's really involved in their activities on a daily basis as he's tweeting for 16 hours a day. But there he's saying effectively, he takes no responsibility for the advertisers wanting to leave the platform. And by the way, maybe they left because of the anti-Semitic comments. I don't know. I don't even think that was necessary. They should be leaving because the platform has been turned into a living hell that nobody wants to be on, which seems like a problem. But in response to that, his reaction is to throw a hissy fit in front of advertisers and say, well, whatever, it'll kill the company. And then the consolation is supposed to be that not that he can save the company, he doesn't have any ideas. So yes, you should keep him as your CEO of Tesla and all that. This is a guy who just gives up as a result of not wanting to take responsibility for his own behavior. But his consolation is that he'll be liked more than them. Take a look at this.
Those advertisers, I imagine, are going to say, we didn't kill the company.
Oh yeah?
They're going to say,
tell it to Earth.
But they're going to say, Elon, that you killed the company because you said these things and that they were inappropriate things and that they didn't feel comfortable on the platform, right? That's what they're going to say.
And let's see how Earth responds to that.
What is any of this supposed to mean? He thinks, yeah, well, I don't want them to come back, and it might kill this $44 billion investment, but whatever, Earth will be on my side. But he doesn't care. He goes on to say in the interview, I have no problem being hated, which might be the biggest lie ever. There has been even Trump doesn't crave adulation and praise as much as Elon Musk. But this is a guy that apparently is willing to let the company die rather than change course because people will blame Disney more than him or whatever. I don't even know. And this is a guy who's clearly going through a bunch of stuff. There had been reporting a couple weeks back, the Twitter staff almost called the cops during one of his tantrums because he'd locked himself in his office at Twitter and they were worried he was going to hurt himself. And that was apparently in the wake of when he got booed at the Dave Chappelle concert because he honestly believed that he would go on stage and everyone would cheer for him because, as Jordan points out, he surrounds himself with people who've been chosen just because they love him, or at least will pretend that they do. This is his personal problem. It should just be his personal problem that ideally you go to therapy for. But instead, he's put in charge of all of these different companies that he's not qualified to run. He's not psychologically capable of running. And we're just watching this. And I honestly, I'm very critical of him and everything, but this feels like the sort of thing that is a warning sign of something bad that could happen soon. I don't want to be an alarmist or whatever, but this is a public meltdown on a scale that we don't often see. It's like he's got apocalyptic dark thoughts that he is putting out onto Disney, but that are his to deal with. This is a response to his actions and statements, and he takes no responsibility, as he never does. Any final thoughts?
It's funny to see, like you said, people are more and more seeing through his facade. He's not this uniquely skilled genius who can run every company efficiently. He certainly has no idea what he's doing. He's tanking this platform. He bought it because he wanted to be popular and well liked on it. And the let's let Earth decide thing, again, just seems like his echo chamber of people who will just say, oh, great, masterful gambit, sir, brilliant, sir, to everything that he tweets or does. That's who he expects to take his side. And later he was pressed on the Disney thing. He implied that everybody would just boycott Disney in retaliation. Nobody's going to do that. People do not care. And especially on the right, where most of his base is now, they definitely aren't going to care. They're not going to just stick with it long enough because the next movie that comes along or the next opportunity to go to a park, and they're certainly not going to stop watching ESPN. They're going to engage with Disney in one way or another.
Yeah. The closest you can come to a boycott of Disney is Jordan's refusal to watch MCU movies, but that's really it at this point.
Still going strong.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.